Mr. Matchroom, I'm going to call you Mr. Matchroom actually, Darren Barker. Welcome back. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Good to be back in Birmingham. I'm good. The sun's out. The sun is finally out. We finally got summer. So yeah, if you can't be happy about that, what can you be happy about?
It's because you're in the right city for it, Birmingham. We bring out the sunshine in everyone.
How far are you from here?
About 20 minutes, so nice and easy for me instead of coming down to London.
Well, it's good to be back. And good to see you as always.
Listen, Darren, I love speaking to you because you're an ex-fighter, an ex-champion, and you know how boxing works. I'm going to go top to bottom with these, or I'm going to cover the two events because I know that you've got to get off and broadcast soon. The main event, I know Tyler Denny's not your fighter, obviously Felix Cash is, but we're getting a bit of boxer and Matchroom mixing it up. Talk to us about that fight.
Yeah, I like that fight. It's the unknown, I guess, of Felix Cash, really, where he's been out for so long, and the form of Denny. Beating Matteo Sigiani to win the European title, big scout, big title to have on your CV. But Felix Cash has shown lots of promise. He's shown what a great fighter he is, but been active, is it what, a year and a half or whatever? That is not ideal when you're at the sort of level he's at, where you're on the cuffs of real big things. So it's a really intriguing fight where I can see pros and cons for both. Really looking forward to the first bout of that one.
How do you see it going? I know there's pros and cons of both. We can scream at inactivity all day because it does play a key part. But obviously his move trainer is now with Adam Booth. We know Adam Booth's a really good trainer. He's had some good fighters, David Hay, Josh Kelly, just to name a few. How do you think he's going to adapt to that new environment and really take this fight seriously? Because he should have been in with Ammo.
I believe in the saying a happy fighter is a dangerous fighter, and he seems very happy to me, and that's important as a fighter. He seems comfortable, he seems in a good place, and we've seen in the past when he's on form, he's a very, very hard man to beat. Tyler Denny, he's kind of a jack of all trades. He can do a bit of everything. Unorthodox at time, quick hands, can move, fires a lovely straight left, and it'll move out of the way. It'll do it with real speed. I imagine we'll see Felix Cash being the aggressor. But the issue with Felix sometimes is, and I like it, don't get me wrong, he has this fire in his eyes, that real dog in his belly that sometimes allows him or makes him get dragged into a fight when he doesn't need to. But he's been in a lot of good fights because of that. So there could be stages here that he gets dragged into a fight and gets carried away at times. But it's a really intriguing fight. It's a brilliant one. I can't wait for it.
Conor Walker, Crocker. I mean, come on.
Do we even need to talk about this fight? Look, I'll tell you now. Okay, let's stop. Yeah, that's Felix here. I'll just say hello to the camera. Look,
How you doing, guys?
I'll tell you what, he looks big, isn't he? He looks big, isn't he?
How's the training going with Adam Booth?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. Yeah, enjoying the boxing again. Looking forward to Saturday night and showing you what we've been working on.
That's what I just said. Look, there's a smile on his face. A happy fighter is a dangerous fighter.
Yeah, 100%.
Go and back it up, mate.
I will back it up. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah, that fight, Conor Walker and Lewis Crocker, we don't need to talk about it. Let me tell you now, for as long as that fight lasts, it is fireworks. Do not go in the kitchen to make a cup of tea. Do not go to the toilet. Don't do anything. Don't blink. Don't blink because you'll miss something special. This is going to be carnage. Absolute rage for as long as it lasts. Don't miss it. I can't wait for this one.
There was some rumours reported online. You know what boxing Twitter's like. We find things out and then stuff goes out that apparently it's been penned that Paddy Donovan is already lined up to fight Crocker. A bit of a dangerous one because the same thing happened with Cyrus Pattinson. He was lined up to fight Crocker and then obviously Conor came and spoilt the show. A bit of a risky one, do you think?
Yeah.
We don't know how it's going to go, do we?
No, we don't. But I think probably when you looked at that Pattinson-Walker fight, you probably had Pattinson a real big favourite going into it. Whereas now, this one, I think there are more people leaning towards Crocker, but there's a lot of people fancy Walker in this fight. So it's one of those. And I like that carrot being dangled. I like that the winner knows that if I win this fight, so usually what happens in that circumstance, there is the negative where the pressure may get to them. It might be a little bit too much pressure. But on the flip side, the side that I'm hoping is that they give absolutely everything. They leave it all in the ring because they know there's a huge fight next. So carnage, don't miss it.
I've got to take you back to Selhurst Park. Yes, I know it's another promoter, but I've got to speak to you about CBS versus Richard Riakporhe for the World Championship Cruiserweight title on the weekend. Talk to me about that fight. And like I said, I value your opinion so much, Darren, because you've been there and done it. I can sit as a fan and say everything I think, but you really know what it is.
Yeah, look. It was a disciplined, mature, experienced performance from CBS. On the flip side, and I've said this time and time again, and I say it sometimes in commentary, sometimes a fighter's main asset can be their downfall, can be their letdown. And I think Richard Riakporhe was a little bit obvious with the shots, probably didn't throw it enough and just telegraphed the right hand, his dangerous shot. So he kind of nullified his own advantage by not setting traps and just looking for the shot in a bit too obvious of manner, and that allowed the experience of CBS just to sort of nick the rounds and come through, and rightly so. There's not too much more to say about it, really. Sometimes you have a ceiling, and sometimes that's the heights of your career. And I'm not really signaling out Riakporhe here, but I'm saying, look, he had his opportunity there to become a world champion against somebody who'd already beaten, and I don't know. I don't know. On the flip side, CBS showed us what he's been doing in the last few years since that first fight. He's been learning, he's been gaining experience, and he made that count on the night.
Making it count on the night, how important is that there was a post-fight conversation with CBS? And obviously we know that, Jai Opetaia is in the cruiserweight division, but Shane team have sort of like said, look, Jai Opetaia 2025, we want to go and fight in the States. We're looking at Zurdo Ramirez, that I think has recently won the belt. Your thoughts on that, Darren?
Look, whether it be Opetaia or Chris Billam-Smith, Chris holds a world title. Opetaia is a massive name. They're not going to be short of options. And that's what you want as a fighter. You want that excitement. You want it to be exciting every time your phone rings, that it might be news on the next date. You want the excitement of walking through the gym doors and knowing that your coach, your manager might have news for you. And when you're a fighter that carries a world title or carries the big name like Opetaia does, these things usually happen. And that's what you want as a fighter. You want exciting times. And whatever happens for those, they're going to be in big fights. So what a time to be either of those two fighters.
Mapping it out for Opetaia, I know we said that he wants to obviously unify, then potentially move up. Is Zurdo somebody that you think could come up on the radar for him as well? Because it could end up with CBS wanting Zurdo and then Opetaia wanting Zurdo. I mean, how would that work in the cruiserweight world with all the promoters?
I don't know. I don't know what will happen. Even if I had a crystal ball, I don't even think the crystal ball would tell me, because boxing, there's curveballs all the time. But is it a fight I'd like to watch? Yes. I think stylistically it would gel and it would be a brilliant fight. Opetaia, I think I see recently calling out Usyk, and if you've got that name, Opetaia, I don't blame him. I don't blame him for calling out the biggest out there. So I don't know what's going to happen, but there's a lot of fights I'd like to see between the two of them.
But this is what we love about boxing, the unpredictability of it, the excitement of it, not knowing that literally you can go to bed, wake up in the morning, it's a completely different story. The person lost who you thought would win. Crazy sport, right?
Yeah, and dream fights are happening now with the input of His Excellency and Saudi, and opportunities are coming around that perhaps may have not happened because they didn't financially make sense. So it's good for the sport.
We love it. Listen, an absolute pleasure to speak with you. We'll catch up soon.
Kind welcome to your city.
You got to come back.
Oh.
That's the catch.
Cool as I will. Cool as I will. See you later on.
People say I'm toxic, and honestly, I don't care.